picture you see on your screen right now is a picture of my father when he started out Haggard Stocking. And I'm not sure he had the vision then what the Haggard Stocking would turn out to be, but I tell you, it's his son and following in his footsteps. I'm awful proud of what he's done and what he's accomplished, and I'm just trying to do what I can. So today we're going to get a chance to hear how he got started and his passion for the company. Obviously, you had a lot of adversity over the years, so what kept you motivated in those hard times when you feel like the chips were stacked against you?
Well, there's a point when you're in business, your motivation is survival. What did you learn? What did you do wrong? And what can you do to make the change? And we've had a number of areas where things were stacked against us. Like I say, when I bought the company, and then 9/11, when right after 9/11 we had a number of major bankruptcies. Then when I hired a president, which was a mistake, and let the president go, a separation of my partnership. But basically, it's survival. If you want to stay, you can't walk away from. If you're going to walk away from every bad thing, then you better not be in business, because business is not all rosy.
You had a lot of things you went through, going and working in farms and when you're working with a telephone company and a Hitachi, but when you founded Haggard Stocking, we're in industrial cutting tools. What was your vision for success of the company?
To have a job where I could make decent money and be able to make decisions and get the rewards of what I could accomplish. The bottom line, it goes still back, like I said before, it's survival. I was asked this before when I called on distributors. I tried to buy Bowling Green Supply back years ago, $50,000. I couldn't raise the money. Prior to that, when we were in Fort Wayne, I've always had an entrepreneur, I guess. I didn't know it was an entrepreneur. It was just, I'd like to try things. I tried to build a drive-in car wash. They were new things. Had the ground picked out and all that, and I needed $5,000. I couldn't borrow the money. So I've tried different things. So once when everything else kind of fell apart in regards to, I wanted to get away from working for somebody that gave me a minimal raise. I decided, so I thought if I could get there and just work on something where I can basically plan my own future. And my vision was at that time, start a distributorship, because I called on a number of them. If I could do $5 million and make it profitable, I could have a very good life, for a good family life, enjoy myself, and be very successful. To be where we're at today, I had no vision at that time. Who knows? When you first start off, the vision is really day to day. And I've looked, and I want to make this maybe a little longer answer. Jan Tarts was a mentor, and I've expressed to him that I just don't seem to be satisfied where I'm at, because I keep wanting to push the envelope. And he said, Herb, stop. And he says, I know the goals are at the top of the mountain. You can always set a mountain of goals, but stop and look where you came from. Look back and look how far up the mountain you are. And that has always stuck with me. And that's what you got to do sometime, because your goals are that mountain's going to grow on you. Always going to grow. You're going to keep wanting to do more and do more. But sometimes you got to stop and look where you came from. And that I truly believe in.
You've had a great career. You've had a lot of success, and you learned it from a young age. But if you can go back in time or actually talk to someone at a young age, what advice would you give them today?
Well, the advice I would give is what you do. Work hard, do the best. May not always be number one, but you want to achieve, and if you achieve, good things will happen. But my advice is that no matter what job you take on, do it the best you can, and just don't go to work because you have to go to work. You got to remember, 8 hours a day is a third of your life. I mean, not quite 30. You got Saturday and Sunday, but I enjoy people that I want people that are honest, they're committed, and they work hard. And trust is a big factor. So you generate that with your employer, and you'll have opportunities to grow, because I think that's more of a rarity now. And I know the colleges teach you how to get ahead, and that's to work 2 or 3 years, gain experience, and go sell that to somewhere else. Yeah, you can job hop, but I can tell you right now, when we look at an application, we see job hopping. That doesn't go anywhere with us. So maybe with the big companies, but I think the long-term commitment and success that you have will carry you a long way.
You mentioned that Haggard Stocking is a lot bigger than you originally envisioned, but over the course of our past 50 plus years, and a lot of things we've gone through, what gives you probably the greatest sense of pride?
Being 82 and still working. The biggest pride is have people like Kevin's been here 46 years. His wife had been here like 48 years. A number of people in their 20s, some in their 30s. Jeff, you've been here 30-some years. Is the fact that when we say it's a family company, we've got people that have been with us and stayed. The biggest pride is really the relationship with the employees. That means a lot to me personally, because I stop and look at, we're close to 100 people. And if you look at, say everybody, there's 4 people in the family. So basically, I feel we touch 400 people, and I take that very seriously. That the pride is that we're able to. I've seen families come. I've seen their kids raised. I see them have grandkids. It's really neat here and see some of the people who've been here a long time, how they've raised their family and retired and moved on.
There's a lot of things that have driven you over the years, but do you feel like your childhood was a big factor on who you are today and what you've done at Haggard Stocking?
I think my childhood plays the major part of who I am and what I do personally and what I do at Haggard Stocking. And you probably say, why? Well, I came from a very blue-collar family. Some people say, do you have a great childhood? Well, I feel I had a great childhood, but it was different than childhoods today. And the question is why? Well, we didn't have much, but I learned a long time ago that if I wanted to do anything, I would have to pay my own way. And I started off early when I was, 12, 13 years old. I worked for farmers. At that time, they baled hay, and they in turn hired those young guys at 75 cents an hour. And at that point in time, 75 cents an hour was a lot of money. And I was on call, but what I also found out, because not only baled hay, but I worked for a truck gardener, picking strawberries at 7 cents a quart. I worked at a potato farm. I worked for a dairy farm. This is all prior to being, 18 years of age. And what I found out, which really, if you worked hard and did a great job, opportunities would rise. And I say that because with the potato farmer, I worked hard. He liked how much I worked, so he selected me to go to the market with him and sell, and I could sit there and sell. The strawberry at 7 cents a quart. I learned how I made more money, and what it taught me is I liked it because it was a commission type deal. I got 7 cents a quart, and man, I could pick a lot of strawberries. 7 cents a quart, a lot better than 75 cents an hour. You go on and you look at that, and I found out that if you worked hard, good things will happen. Because when I worked for one of the farmers with hay, I worked hard. He liked what I worked, so he offered me a job to be his assistant, and during the summer, and it means I got to drive the tractor. I didn't have to lift the bales. All the other young guys had to do all the lifting. I got to do the easy work. That's because I showed myself. So what I've learned over the years, if you work hard and excel, then you basically will have opportunities. And not only that, I like the fact you can make money. Because back then, even to the point when I was in school, I was at a Waverly school for 6 years, a 2-room schoolhouse. We in turn were merged with Mooresville. And 7th and 8th grade, I was getting, my mother was able to give me $1.25 a week for my lunches, 25 cents a day. I found out if I could work, they hired the young kids to be the cashier, taking the quarters, no brainchild, that you get your meals free. So I worked 7th and 8th grade as a cashier for the grade school, and I got my lunches free, and I kept $1.25. So all the years, I've found out that if you work hard and do a great job, opportunities will do it. Yes, I got into, went to Purdue. My mother was able to pay the first year tuition, but from then on, I had to pay it myself. Basically, I worked at Purdue in a cafeteria. I worked summers. I ended up driving. My uncle was president of the Teamsters local one summer, and I was offered a job at $2.50 an hour. And he asked me, "Can you drive a truck?" Well, being on the farm, I said yes. I didn't know he meant a tractor trailer. So I, in turn, went to work, and I didn't have to join a union. And my first job was to drive a tractor trailer for Tubular Steel. I went there and I said, "Can you drive?" I said, "Sure, I can drive." "Okay, take this load over to J&L Steel." It was a tractor trailer. Well, I could drive it. Going forward, it's not a problem. But if you ever had to back a tractor trailer in between two semis and you've never done it before, let me tell you, it took me 20-some minutes to get it in there. And the guy standing on the dock said, "Young man, you haven't done this very often." I said, "No, it's my first day." But I had the opportunity to do different things. Worked in manufacturing. Then I went to Purdue. Got married at age 20, which I don't advise people today. It's very difficult. My wife was 19. Well, we were on our own. We've been on our own, and nobody helped us. I had to travel from Indianapolis to Purdue to Lafayette for one semester because I hadn't finished yet. And let me tell you, when you have 5 7:30 classes in Lafayette, driving from Indianapolis on Old 52 takes a long time. I'd get out of school at noon, I'd go back, and I'd work in a shoe store selling shoes. My wife worked at Western Electric, but we were able to survive, and we've been on our own ever since. I had job offers I ended up getting a degree in industrial design, drafting and design. I got an offer of a job from Ford Motor Company. They flew me to Detroit, and they said, "You'd be a draftsman." This was before computers. It was a hand-drawn draftsman. And I said, walked in a big room, and you said, "You'll be a draftsman here like 50 other draftsmen." Well, it was my first time on an airplane, scared the crap out of me. It was a prop plane, but I came back and I said, "I don't want to do that." So then I got a job, got an offer from General Telephone in Fort Wayne. And that's one reason why I liked the Fort Wayne one later on when we were able to grow, because I was familiar with it. But I worked for General Telephone, and they as a communications consultant. I was able to take a territory up there from one of the last places in sales to number 2. They transferred me to Terre Haute, and that's where Jeff was born, Terre Haute. So I ended up getting a job with Indiana Bell as communications consultant. And again, I was able to increase my territory substantially, and I worked my butt off, and they gave me a great raise. I went from $425 a month to $450 a month. So I worked my butt off, and I got $25 gross dollars a month. I thought, you know what? I like sales, but I'm going to find another way. So I had an opportunity. 2 of us from Indiana Bell left, and we were hired by a Chinese company, Hitachi, to sell and set up distributors across the country. Well, one of my jobs my primary job at Indiana Bell was teaching telemarketing. So we went to set it up, and you learn by mistakes. Because we said, well, we're going to do this, but we'd like to have a piece of the action. Oh, well, we'll take care of you. We ended up putting industrial motors in all 50 states at that time. Basically, when we come back, said, all right, how can we participate in this? Oh no, you're just an employee. Okay, fine. Learned a lesson, I quit. I got a job with a company wanting to start a distributorship. They were in the O-ring business. They wanted industrial tools. I, in turn, went in. I was their salesman, warehouse person, and they hired a 3M salesman as the manager. We operated for a year. They decided that they, in turn, did not want to keep the industrial site open. So here I was let go. It was terminated. My wife was expecting with our second child, and here I'm out of a job, expectant wife, however, my two primary lines at that time were Pratt & Whitney and carborundum. Fortunately, I had worked hard. I had offers from both companies, carborundum and Pratt & Whitney, to be a field salesperson. And that is because my attitude of, if you're going to take on a job, make a commitment, you do it. So basically, before I got the offer, so I was scared to go home. So I called the salesman for carborundum, who was a friend of mine, Dick Neville. Went to his house for 3 hours and said, how in the hell do I go home and tell my wife I don't have a job, she's pregnant? And he says, you'll work it out. I end up turning carborundum down because they wanted me to move to Buffalo, and end up taking Pratt & Whitney because I could stay where I was at. And we had to go to Connecticut and take a lot of tests. They come back and say, well, he's so young, you need to make him an associate. And my general manager said, no, I know what he can do. He's going to be a full-fledged salesman on commission. And that was Joe Reinhardt. That was my first mentor. So Joe Reinhardt put me out in the field, and I took over a territory that was in last place. I covered partial 5 states. I'll tell you what, I ended up being the largest territory out there. They offered me a job, Pratt & Whitney did, to move to Connecticut and take over Boeing and the aircraft, fly all over the country. I told them no. I wasn't moving out of Indiana. I wasn't going to travel on an airplane, and I was done. So I started looking around for another job. Ruby Overton Tool introduced me to Bud O'Connor. Bud O'Connor was the manufacturer's rep, and he in turn said he was retiring. He had 6 product lines. Here I am, eager to do something. Again, naive as hell. So he says, I'll tell you what, I'll sell my 6 lines to you. My attorney, at that time, fell and broke his back. I did have an attorney. Bud said, I'm a good guy, we'll use my attorney. Don't ever let the seller use his attorney for both sides. Because I, in turn, signed a paper where I would pay him a percentage of the gross margin that I would sell over a period of 3 years. Well, so my first office was a corner desk in his office, and his secretary charged me 50 cents or a quarter a letter to type. I contacted all 6 companies. 4 of them, all 6 of them came back and said, well, we had notified Mr. O'Connor several months ago that we were going to change our distribution because he didn't have the sales. All of a sudden, I went to 0 lines. However, 2 of them come back and said, we're willing to talk to you. And that was, one was Precision Diamond and one was Electro Tools. Harry Deerwester was one of the owners of Electro Tools, and Jan Tyerts from Belgium owned Precision Diamond. I went up and talked to him and basically pleaded, let me show you what I can do. Both of them said, okay, we can't lose because we don't have anybody else. Precision Diamond, Jan Tyerts became a mentor. He says, young man, you listen to me, I personally will come down and train you. And he did. Precision Diamond, we ended up to be the largest rep company in the country for Precision Diamond. And we were in the top 5 with electrical tools. Then I was working as a manufacturer's rep, and I found out one thing as a manufacturer's rep, you can't go on vacation. First vacation I tried to go on with the family, I was on the phone the whole time because you know, you're a one-person show. So Mr. Stocking, Ronald Stocking, was a one-man rep company, and Max Euler at Link Belt Chain kept saying, why don't you two get together? Why don't you two get together? So we eventually got together in, I think, 72. So we grew, and for 20 years we had a pretty good partnership. I won't get into the reason we separated, but we ended up separating, and after 20 years, I ended up buying Mr. Stocking out. But I go back to the point of the principle. Like what I carried forward is if you work hard, you can succeed, and good things will happen. Have I had mistakes? Yes. I call them, I paved some dead-end streets. There are a number of dead-end streets, but what you learn by going down the wrong way, you learn not to do it again. And so I still believe that because of survival, which my wife and I were always under the mode of survival, we were able to survive and accomplish and raise a family. Now, we don't believe our family was ever deprived of anything, but we sure as hell didn't go out there and buy everything. And you know, we did buy a camper, but it was a fold-up canvas camper. And the first time we used it, we got drenched because the canvas I never realized the canvas doesn't hold water, or after a while, it doesn't shed water. But we've had some fun. Those are fun times. Even today, that's why I'm still working, because I enjoy what I'm doing. And people laugh at me. They say, if you see a penny on the ground, will you stop, pick it up? You're damn right it is. You know why? Because that's one penny I didn't have. And I still do that. Frankly, I did it this week. And I still have the principles. I don't buy new cars, buy used cars. Can I afford a used car? Yes. But you know what? My principle is I've worked hard. I believe in it. I believe there's ethics in it. And I believe you want to treat people like they treat you. And that's why I keep referring to this as a family company, because it is a family company. And we're trying to instill the family value. Some people can't work under that arrangement, but I can. And if you show me you're hardworking and honest and you want to get ahead, I will back you 100%. But to start off today at 19 and 20 and do what we did, I don't think you can do that because the cost of living is so much. But we were able to, back then they said the cost of living was high. Well, compared to today at 29 cents a gallon of gas, compared to 3 some of gas, I guess it wasn't that high. But that's kind of where we're at, and that's why I carry the same values now as I carried then. And that's why people laugh at me. And Jeff, Kevin laugh at me because they say I like plaques or awards. I like them because you know what? That shows you worked hard and you're recognized. And I still believe in that. And that's what I want. You know, I'm very competitive. I know I can't be first in everything, but I tell you what, I sure can hell give you a run for your money. And that's what I plan to do.
Today we learned a great history lesson on how my father got started and where Haggard Stocking came from. On our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about the locations of Haggard Stocking and the early days and the sales and the atmosphere of the customer base with one of our retired sales guys.